So Grand Prix pole to Peter Brock, with Johnson to start from position number 2. Out of 3, Tony Longhurst in the Benson and Hedges Sierra. 4, John Bow in the second of the Shell Sierras. 5, Jimmy Richards in the Nissan GTSR Skyline. 6, Glenn Seaton in the Peter Jackson Ford. 7, Andrew Madecki in the Kenwood Blast Dynamic Sierra. 8, Tal Malmo's George Fury in the second of the Skylines. 9, Alan Moffat in car number 9, the ANZ Sierra. And topping the 10, Colin Bond in the Caltex Cosworth. Get set for the grand final of the Shell Ultra Touring Car Championship from Sydney's Oran Park. Can Brocky do it? They're racing, and they get away smartly with Johnson out with a blinder. Brock still trying to light the tyres. Seaton in for a good start in the 2 Shell cars. And here comes Brocky storming down the inside, and Longhurst comes with him. Just look at the gap they put over the rest of them as they come down through the kink into the first corner. Brock, the race leader, doing it for Mobile. Then the 2 Shell cars. Longhurst is next. A brilliant start by Andrew Madecki. Seaton is 1 out back behind them. And they race under the Yokohama Bridge and down to the right-hander. A little bit of pressure already for Brock in 0-5. Down towards Champion Corner. And a good start from John Bow. Sensational start.
Brock initially looked as though he hesitated, and the other cars got the jump, but then he got the power down very effectively and made a great run down to the first left-hander. These guys are delicately trying to balance their cars on cold tyres, and Dick Johnson just losing a little bit of ground that time over the bridge to Brock as they make the run down to this very fast left-hand run through Yamaha Corner and up to what is effectively a very, very fast chicane. Coming up now to end lap number 1, 1 hour racing. Here's George Fury making a run on Colin Bond.
Gee, that was a good move. Glenn Seaton in the Peter Jackson. This one sits in behind Madecki's Kenwood Blast Dynamic Sierra.
Those 2 guys, of course, both had the big mid-season rebuilds after the fiery Lakeside debacle.
I think you'd have to say that the Peter Jackson Seaton racing car has made some pretty substantial improvements too. They've had a tough year, no doubt about that.
Big move here from Glenn Seaton down on the inside of Andrew Madecki. Good move, brought it off. Richo now moves right in behind Madecki. You can't get much closer than that. Dulux Auto Colour Race Cam tells the story, though, as we make the way up to Yokohama Bridge. Sensational pictures.
These 4 cars are really getting quite close now. I'd say that Madecki's in a little bit of strife in terms of Jim Richards about to make an attack. Very fast corner through the left-hander at Yamaha, and if the car touches the ripple strip on the inside, it can bounce you out into nowhere land. You see that Madecki just gets into the grass a little bit down there. And joining us in the commentary and probably being, well, a little bit twitchy and a bit green, Brad Jones, forming what normally is part 2 of the Mobil 1 racing team, watching Jim Richards here, and look at this move on as they tackle the little Toyota. Brad, there's a good job here from Richo.
Fantastic job. Of course, everyone realises Richo is one of the top drivers, and he's proving that. He's a little bit down on horsepower, but after a bad start, he's working his way back through the field.
There's Peter Brock, very much of the same mould. He's doing a pretty good job out there at the moment. Just correcting a fair bit of oversteer through that corner. That car would be pretty delicate through there.
Yes, in the warm-up this morning, Pete was about a second quicker than anyone else. Well, he was a second quicker. And I'm a little surprised Dick's hanging on to him like he is. The car is working fantastically. You just can't believe how fast he is in the thing. The Bridgestones are working well. And in a race trim, we thought we had a package which would just about give him half a lap's lead by the end, but that's not the case at the moment.
There he is, our race leader, Peter Brock. Let's recap them for you on the Caltex race score. Brocky leading from Dick Johnson, John Bow, the second of the Shell cars. In 3rd spot, Tony Longhurst is in 4th. Glenn Seaton is in 5th. And don't forget, Toyota through Corolla give you a chance today to win a Corolla in our 7 Sport sweepstakes. And all you have to do is fill out the 3 questions. Toyota, oh, what a something, Mount somewhere, Bathurst, and 7 something else. All you have to do is put them on the back of an envelope, put your name, and send it to Corolla 7 Sports Sweepstakes, Television Centre, Epping, New South Wales 2121. Could win you a new Corolla when we go to Amaru Park for our next meeting. Back in just a tick.
the gap that Dick Johnson's been able to put on his own Shell teammate, John Bow, who just doesn't quite seem to be able to get into the blue here, as it were.
He's actually sitting about the same distance for the last couple of laps. That these two initially pulled away from him very quickly, but...
Well, Dick, of course, sat in the draft. There's Brocky, 44, from Melbourne, driving the Mobil 1 Sierra. First in the 74, 78, 80 Australian Touring Car Championship. Winner of Bathurst 9 times, Sandown 500 9 times, and currently third in the Shell Touring Car Championship on 60 points. Peter Perfect. And Perfect, he's been so far in this grand final round this afternoon. I think you're right, Brad, that Dick would like to come up trumps for the final race here. With Shell, the series sponsor, and this is the sponsor of Dick's team. So we spotted one round sideways in front of the mob there. To have all the wind taken out of your sails by the man in the mobile machine on grand final day.
That was Kevin Waldock, incidentally, in the yellow Sierra.
You see how pointing the wrong way. There's Dick coming up. Once again, they put a lap. One of the little Toyota Corollas. Of course, chasing the manufacturer's title today, starting 3 points ahead of Ford going into the grand final with Johnny Smith, John Faulkner and young Brooke Tacknell trying to get those three home and wrap up the manufacturer's title.
Incidentally, Waldock in the Blast Dynamics car number 55 is the winner of today's Dulux Auto Colour Best Presented Car Award. There's Peter Brock working very, very hard with race cam looking over his shoulder. I think he's up onto the back of Kenny Matthews here, who's showing plenty of straight line speed as Peter grabs fifth. And now he's really got Johnson hard on his tail.
Brock would be loving all this. At the start of the year, when he went over and purchased the Rouse cars, no one actually thought he had a chance of being competitive, let alone leading a race, and now he's waving the flag out the front and loving every bit of it, I think.
I don't know whether it's just a paint deception, but the cars look noticeably different in their ride height. Sometimes just with different colour cars it can trap you, but Peter's car looks to be a little bit lower at the rear than Dick's car.
I think it's a bit lower all around. But Peter, when he sets the car up, he tends to like them very low, and if you walk around the pits, when they're sitting side by side, it's quite noticeable.
Peter Brock making his way past the Ashby Reed Dulux Commodore. And while this little scrap's continuing, as Dick really starts to get on the tail now, John Bow is starting to come from the clouds in third.
Brock's got his lights on and everything flashing.
The arm will be out the window shortly, warding them off before he gets there.
14.6, lap 19, position 1, and the gap, he knows exactly what it is. So you don't have to worry about holding that out to him, Steph.
Yes, you haven't got to be Einstein to work that out today. Look for John Bow. He's just sitting back about 3 or 4 car lengths behind Dick Johnson. It'll be interesting if he closes up on Johnson, what to do.
Jim Richards, I understand, is heading towards the pits in the Nissan. Oh, dear.
That's a bit of a head shake. John Bow is really closing in on
Yes, he is. He's
got that gap in half.
There's Richards.
Jimmy Richards in the pits for a tyre change.
Is that all round? Yes, it is. All 4.
Here they come down, they start finishing straight.
He's actually got a little bit of a gap on Dick this time.
That, I think, is a result of some of the lap cars. Brock plays that game ever so well. Just waits to the last moment, dives to the inside or the outside on a car.
Yes, I think that all started back at the kink last lap round. Brock, as he does so expertly, just managed to slip under a slower car and snooker Dick momentarily. Once you lose that 3 or 4 car lengths, it's hard to pull it back.
On such a struggle, you've got to start working the car and the tyres, and all this is happening. John Bow's closing up on them here.
Now, a bit of a dilemma, I guess, for John Bow. What does Bow do? Go out and run with Brock and try and run him out of puff and let Dick pick up the pieces? Because John made an electric start off the second row, went with Dick. Brock seemed marginally slower, but caught it up nicely and regained before the first corner. But Peter Perfect in the Mobil 1 Ford Sierra over the dog leg coming down. There's Dick. Second, Johnny Bow is third.
35 minutes of racing remaining in this 1-hour final round of the Australian Touring Car Championship.
JB's probably the smart one here. He's gone out a little more gently than the other two, maybe conserving his tyres a little bit, getting ready to attack towards the end of this race.
He really needs Dick to finish in about 6th spot or so, and John to win it.
Maybe you'll punt him off.
And then, no, I don't think so. Not unless he's got another team to go to next year.
Let's recap it for you on our Caltex race score. Peter Brock is your race leader from Dick Johnson. John Bower, 3rd. 4th spot held by Glenn Seaton. And 5th by Tony Longhurst. We should be back in a moment. Brock leading from Dick Johnson.
Glenn's car looks good. It's not sliding or bucking too much. It's just doing the job, which is a good thing, and he should be there towards the end.
Don't forget the question that we raised for you, that you can have your say on Group A racing. All those people that go back over the years. The question we put is, should the technical rules governing Australian touring car racing be fine-tuned for 1990 now to encourage closer competition between the brands? Now, all you have to do if you want to register a yes or a no vote on that subject, and the phones will be open until 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. If you don't agree, leave things the way they are. Dial 0211 If you believe they should be changed to make it a little closer, dial 0211 We'll let you know the result of that poll. Sports World across the Australian Television Network next Sunday morning. Back on track. Dick Johnson, that gap about the same at this stage, and John Bower probably, yep, about the same. So they've gone past the halfway mark. A 1-hour timed race, as all the events have been this year, with the exception of the Wanneroo round, which was a 50-minute race.
And Lakeside, which was 30, wasn't it?
I thought that went for half a day.
Yeah, I think.
Top 5 cars here, Sierras, and of course I guess that's a large part of what our poll is about. These cars have been so dominant the past 2 seasons. Is there a need to change, to put some competitiveness back into A, Holden, and B, bring back some of the other makes that have gone by the board in the last couple of seasons?
They go beneath the bridge. Brocky, DJ and JB.
Glenn Seaton, 4th spot. Tony Longhurst is in 5th, and the first non-Sierra in 6th position is George Fury, followed by Alan Moffat. Richards, who went to the pits earlier for a tyre change, is now back up to 10th spot and closing on the leading division.
Dick's certainly still having a go. You watch that car duck and dive around. It's having a bit of a slide. You've got to wonder what it's doing to the tyres. You know, the half-race distance now, they can only take that sort of treatment for so long. You watch Brock when you're in the car with him, he actually turns a bit past the point. He's got a bit of understeer in his car, and it comes out a little bit taily, but he certainly looks more relaxed in the car than Dick, and his car's not ducking and diving as quite as much, so it's still a very interesting race.
Car number 33, we mentioned him earlier. 17-year-old Brooke Tatnall running for Toyota today as part of their Start Search program. Bradley, you'd know after watching this youngster, it might seem a little underpowered for him. He's used to about 400 or 500 horsepower around on the clay tracks.
Is he ever? I'm a sprint car fan. I always go out on the Friday and the Saturday night, watch them at Liverpool and Granville. And Brooks probably trying to work out what the other pedal is there. He's not used to pressing a clutch down, I wouldn't think, but he's doing a great job today.
Well, he qualified only a tick behind John Faulkner and John Smith in the other 2 Toyota Corollas, so he hasn't done half bad on that point alone.
Well, he's one of a number of youngsters from all forms of motorsport, the Toyota, who given opportunity to run in their Star Search program this year. The top 2 drivers will get to run at Mount Panorama in the Tooheys 1000 a little later in the year.
I think Brooke would have to be looking pretty good for that at the moment.
So he continues on in the Toyota, and they look good to take out the Manufacturers' Championship side of proceedings. It'll also be resolved here this afternoon. So Brooke Tatnall, youngster, continues on. He'd have been just as happy if it had rained and thrown some mud on the circuit, but it's clay.
Then he'd start looking for some horsepower.
Yeah, that's right. There's Georgie Fury and Alan Moffat. Also running in the top 10 this afternoon, George, the winner of Winton Round, the penultimate round of the championship. Fury is in position 6, Moffat in position number 7.
Fury, the first of the non-Sierras.
Good to see Alan up there with them this afternoon. Very determined.
running in the ANZ colours. SO supported for the Enduros later this year. Also running a 2-car team for Bathurst and the Tooheys 1000.
Neville Crichton in the second of the Benson and Hedges entries has fallen victim to the pace and gone to the pits, but Tony Longhurst is still out there circulating just up ahead of this pair.
Tel Malmo Farmer, Georgie Fury, little ray of sunshine he brought to Nissan after a season of fairly hard competition, winning the Winton round, and did it superbly.
You notice how Allen's gradually increasing the tempo throughout the season.
Yep.
You just get the feeling that when we get to Bathurst again, that little ANZ car is going to be at the head of the field somewhere.
Wound up like a rubber band he'll be by the time we get to Mount Panorama, and all raring to go.
And he also picks up on the way to Bathurst a guy by the name of Rudy Eggenberger, who won't do any harm, and also Klaus Nietzwitz, the man who teamed with him last year. They look like being, I guess it's hard to say, a guy that's running around in 7th spot at the moment, but you get to Bathurst, an endurance race, and all of a sudden he pole vaults 6 spots and becomes the favourite. That's Alan's style. Loves endurance racing. He's having a great scrap here with George Fury at the moment.
He's having a little poke for sure, and I'll tell you what, he's in a good position here because it'll be interesting to see who's got the squirt, and I think I know where I'd have my money, so to speak, pardon the pun. Oh, and Chris Lambden's Borough Pairs Commodore has gone into the wall right at the bottom of the straight and taken the back right off the car. Goodness me. That's been a very solid knock. He's gone in there absolutely smack bang backwards by the look of it. Lucky not to rupture the fuel tank. I'd be getting out of that thing pretty quickly.
Well, there is an unofficial trophy for the first normally aspirated car to finish in the championship, and he was the points leader. I don't think he's going to collect now.
Oh, that's a pity. Jimmy Richards, car number 2. Up to ninth. See Jim two-wheeling it over the top of Honda.
We had to hang up on Richo then.
Might get him back for a chat.
Richo, it's Brother Crompton here. Can you hear me?
Hi, brother. How are you?
All right, buddy.
I can't shake hands at the moment.
No, we'll reserve that for later. So what sort of times are you doing? Oh, hang on to her, Richo.
Not fast enough.
It looked pretty fast then, mate. Is that something I should be copying?
Was about him. You didn't do it quite right, is it?
Yeah. Jim, it's probably a little bit frustrating after the car was so competitive at Winton.
Oh, yes, but, you know, you got to keep trying and keep going.
The motorsport world during the week were impressed to see the photos of the new car. That must have you excited for 1990.
Yes, it certainly does. I think it'll be a very, very good package. And, you know, the cars have gone extra well as they've gone on this season, so to get something new like that next year will be real good.
You're looking forward to Bathurst with a consistent car like this?
I am. It's got faster as the races have gone by, but I think at Bathurst it'll be at its peak.
Well, thanks again, Jim. It's great looking over your shoulder, and we won't interrupt you for much longer because I think it might be a bit distracting.
I'd like to try and catch someone in front. Thanks, mate.
Okay. I might talk to you for another half an hour.
Hey.
Back in the lead, Peter Brock. 0-5 with about 13 minutes to go for the grand final of the Touring Car Championship, and it appears that he's got away from Dick just a little bit. As they come onto the start-finishing straight, let's have a look at it. Recap it for you on the Caltex race score.
Sure has.
Peter Brock is our race leader. Dick Johnson runs in second. John Bauer is third. Glenn Seaton fourth, and Tony Longhurst is fifth. And don't forget, you can enter our Toyota Corolla sweepstakes. All you have to do is fill in the missing words. Toyota, oh, what a something, Mount somewhere Bathurst, and 7... ... Fill those 3 in, put it on the back of an envelope along with your name and address, and send to Corolla 7 Sports Sweepstakes, Television Centre, Epping, New South Wales, 2121. You could win a new Corolla. We'll draw at the AMSCAR Finals on August 6th. We'll be back at Oran Park in just a moment. To go until the checkered flag falls out, and at this stage it looks like Brock is really starting to pull away from Dick Johnson.
About a 3.5 second lead I think he's got at the moment.
That we have to ask the question, does John Bauer? Yes. Does that bring Bauer closer? It certainly does.
Oh, what was that went out the window?
I think it was Dick's hand.
I think he was way, might have been held up for a moment or two.
There was something, I'm sure something came out of the window and it wasn't his fist. Apart from his fist, I should say.
Well, Peter Brock leads. Second spot, Johnson. Third spot, of course, is John Bow. Fourth spot is Glenn Seaton in the Nissan. I'm sorry, in the Sierra, the Peter Jackson Sierra, and right behind him, Tony Longhurst in 25. And look who's closed up right behind him, Alan Moffat.
This is a very good performance from Alan.
Sure is.
Excellent.
He's usually my sparring partner, so I'm just looking at him here, a little green with envy, because fifth or so, that'd be a good position to finish.
Well, that's what they're about to squabble about as they come up on Brian Callahan in car number 37. Alan darts down the inside. And so he's been able to pass George Fury. There's Frank Gardner. Looks happy. I mean, that's happy for Frank Gardner. Oh. In the meantime, we'll take our Caltex race cam in Colin Bond's car. Cole is running 8th on the road at the moment in the Caltex CXT Cosworth Sierra.
He's driving very gently.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a bit of a noise in it.
Just goes it ever. Doesn't sound like it's running. Oh, it's not. It's just gone past our commentary point. It's she ain't running on all four.
Yeah. He's waving them by. So he's dropping back through the pack.
Smithy's gone past him. It is in trouble.
That's a bit of a worry.
So no offence, John Smith or Toyota. That's a great and fast little car, but it certainly tells you there's something wrong with the Sierra.
Yes, he's just limping around for the finish of the race, waving them all by. So John Smith goes by, one of the 3 drivers in this small car class for Toyota. They're all out there running, last time we checked. And from New Zealand, of course, Robbie Francevic has joined the Touring Car Championship circus for the final rounds, driving the Whittaker's Peanut Slab Sierra. Was running in 10th, is still running in that spot. So Robbie Francevic started the season a little late, wasn't really in the points, but the car has been running reliably. A fellow who would like very much to go to Bathurst and do well there.
They had a bit of drama with the car yesterday, and I think he was off the back of the grid today, so to come up to 10th, that's a good result.
Well, we know that he's got the ability. We saw that great championship win in '86 with the Volvo. But as is the case with this game, you've always got to be in the right place at the right time with the deals, and he's trying to get back up on top again. And a result like this will do that for him.
So Robbie Francevic, 27, runs 10th.
He was the recent winner of the New Zealand Truck Grand Prix.
Was too. And, all the spectators over there in the land of the long white shroud thought it was fantastic that their local boy did so well in the trucks. Only 5 minutes away from the checkered flag. Coming up to put a lap on Robbie Francevic. Gee, looks cool out there today, Peter Brock. 0-5. We take our Dulux Auto Colour race cam. Just fantastic to see Brocky get up and win one. Fair and square, not a class win in a BMW where he was battling all the big cars. This one's on the road against Dick and the boys and all that technology. And he's put it together after looking sensational in the last couple of rounds. A little unlucky, as Neil said earlier, to play bridesmaid.
Some heartening news here for Bradley, because this ultimately becomes your car with the new car coming for Peter.
It's great news.
He's sitting there grinning.
Funny, I was just thinking the same thing. You come away, you watch these cars race around, you don't realise how much work they put into these things. When we got these cars at the start of the year, they were quite quick, but we needed to do a few things to them to make them do what they're doing now. So
George Smith and Pat Whittle and all the boys have worked pretty hard. I know that you came out here at the beginning of the season.
He's waving already.
I think he's confident and happy.
I'd say so.
We can't talk to him. That's right, they all put in they very rarely get a day off. I mean, Timmy's not here this weekend, he works on my car. But that's the first time he's had off for a long time. They work so hard, long hours, and
thankless job.
Yeah, and now it's paying off, so it's not just good for Peter, but it's great for the whole team. It's lifted us all.
Second and third. Will John Bow pass Dick Johnson?
No, I don't think so. Not now.
Doesn't look that way. I think that's maybe...
Well, it doesn't sort of help John's cause because, as we said, Dick has to finish further back in the pack before it changes the order of the championship. What was Dick tapping his brakes up
Yeah,
for there?
maybe he's having a bit of brake trouble because he locked one earlier.
Well, there might have been the brake bias knobby through out the window.
Yeah, it could have been. Adjusting it with his fingernail now.
Well, there's back in second and third and doing quite nicely for that formation finish in second and third spot. Let's have a look how they are running out there. On our Caltex race score, Peter Brock is our race leader from Dick Johnson, John Bower. Fourth spot held by Glenn Seaton. Fifth by Tony Longhurst. Sixth place, Alan Moffat, great drive that. Seventh, George Fury. Eighth, Jim Richards. Ninth, Robbie Francevic. And now coming up into the top 10, Mark Scaife in the Nissan Skyline. So they're the positions. Won't be too long before the last lap board comes out. Race 1 hour in duration. Johnson gets away from JB going down the front straight. Oh, and a very severe brake lock up there twice.
Well, I think JB's certainly having a go. You don't come charging down there, leap on the brakes and lock one up if you're not throwing everything at it.
Then hit the team leader.
Yeah. Oops, sorry about punting off the track there, Dick.
They don't enjoy 1 hour of really hard running, do they, these cars?
No, they start to feel a bit second-hand towards the end of the hour.
She's a slightly rubbery sponge.
And it's hard work, you know. The hour's nearly up. You're in there and hit your pulse rates up around 165 to 200 for an hour. That's a long time. It's sort of like running a marathon. You take a drink with you, but that's about it. You don't get much of a break. About the only time you do get the rest is when you're going down the straight.
That's right. When you see Peter get out of the car, or indeed all these fellas, Dick and John, when Gary speaks with them, he will be blood red.
I tell you what, the crowd's starting to come alive too at Oran Park. They, I guess, believe the fact that they're going to be a part of a Peter Brock victory and an outright victory. He scored his 50th career pole position yesterday and going to become the all-time touring car championship round winner here today. In between the lap ones.
Yeah, Brock won't be taking it easy. He believes in driving it as hard as he can, as long as he can, and he'll be stepping into it right until the last lap, I would think.
This, in fact, was the last track that he had a win on, and that was last year in the Pepsi 250 in the BMW when he beat the Nissan team, then driving the BMW. And prior to that, it had been a while between drinks.
Sure, it had been.
I think there was a Holden Commodore up at Surfers Paradise, so this will be sweet for Peter.
Well, everything's coming together at the right time of the year. I think this is the best chance a mobile team have had at Bathurst for a fair while.
They're coming up to Honda Corner. Time almost out in the grand final of the Touring Car Championship. Brock gets a little sideways coming down through the dogleg. Corner comes up and Peter Perfect exits that turn. Heads down Oran Park, start finishing straight, and the checkered flag will fall. Brocky has done it. Brock wins the grand final today to become the most winning touring car driver in history. Second spot will go to Dick Johnson, who locks up the championship, and third is John Bower, who takes runner-up spot status in that championship. So congratulations, Peter Brock. I don't think there'd be a motorsport enthusiast around Australia that would begrudge Peter Brock a win here today after setting record time in practice yesterday, 50th career pole spot, and then locking it all up today with the Touring Car Championship Grand Final. Let's recap them for you on our Caltex race score. Well done, Peter Brock. Race winner. Second spot goes to the new national champion, Dick Johnson, and third spot to the championship runner-up, John Bower.